Okay, so I'm going to the Crucible Keeps now. I remember that one of the Justicias took Saida with him to look after her. I wonder how is she doing now? How is she holding up after she lost her parents and her brother, Emilio Valtas?
I shall.
Why are there enemies here? Who are they? Assassin.
Carrying too much weight.
Wait, there are 3 notes. Okay, let's see. Scrawled note, written on this scrap of parchment, is a concise but detailed description of you, including your name, your distinguishing features, and everyone you're known to have associated with in your brief time in Deerwood. Ah. Now, where is Saida? Ah, there she is. Saida looks like she's had a bath and a few square meals. She smiles shyly. I'm glad you are all right, little girl. I hope you'll find a new place to call home. Wait, I need to talk with Wheeler. Have I talked to her earlier? I don't remember. Wheeler smiles. What can I do for you? Okay, no more new dialogue options. Very well. Now let's go back to Copperlane. We haven't explored the whole of that area. We went to the catacombs and we pop up in the first fires.
Sagani, does your fox bite?
Yes,
Can I pet him anyway?
it's your hand.
I'm gonna pet him.
Be careful, Eder. Hands are precious.
Your brother. Did you and he get along?
We got along how brothers do. He used to throw water on me to wake me up in the morning. I used to fill his boots with stinging ants.
My own brothers and sisters are doing very well for themselves, back in Tekoa. I don't know that they'd search for me if I were killed so far from home.
Brothers can be funny. I bet you'd be surprised how far they'd go.
Eder, are you referring to yourself? How far you go to find out what really happened with your brother during the war? Why was he fighting for Reatseras? Justicia says, have you been to the Goose and Fox yet? Best inn in the city. Justicia says you're always welcome at the keep. Crumbled loaves and shredded flyers float on the waters.
Greetings.
Oh, I remember this guy. He's the one who is seeing his lover. What was her name again? I found that necromancer that he was hunting with his group and his lover. I forgot her name. Dang it. Anyway, this necromancer wants me to find a book from a person named Moedred. If he's going to tell me what happened to Dalton's lover.
Hello? Hello?
Actor says, your time has come, Sigram. Your life is at the end. Oh, Lafden, she calls to me, the pallid night. And you have such poor luck with women as it is. I cannot die yet, my children. What of my children? But you have no children. Of course I do, you fool. A wealth of them. Great armfuls of golden-haired tots, all of whom I love dearly. Ha, audience member says. Commoner says, nice to see you. Actor says, the Stelgaer slain, on rides Mokga, great hero of our tale. Though the road is long and the fighting fierce, my courage will not fail. Her soul shines bright, her heart is true, but ahead lie greater dangers. The 100 poison arrows of the Crimson Serpent's ranges. And now, a feat of dexterity from our friend, Lafden. A what? Lafden will be juggling for your amusement. Go on, Lafden. But I can't juggle. Audience member says, boo. Actor says, what? Don't you know how? Yes, but I haven't the balls for it. Audience member groans. Audience member says, oh, I get it. I heard there are less tame performances somewhere in Ondra's gift. That Orlan is so funny. Do you like theater? I come here as often as I can. Actor says, but how can this be? Kamsa, my dearest love, is also my dearest foe. To think the soul of that deed of that dread fiend, Hokwan, resides within your lovely frame. Audience member says, oh my. Actor says, but Ulgur, I love you. I would never bring you harm. And yet the cruel glint in your eye. Merriment, my love. Your blade, the copper steel you now carry. Only a grim family heirloom, and yet how marvelous it is. Your sweet voice at times, a threatening bellow. Well, you do vex me sometimes. I've never seen this production before, says Aloth. Perhaps we could see how it turns out. Actor says, and so, yes? Why, look, a weary traveler, drawn by your flute. It works, the charm works. Yelia smiles on me, but not on my ears. Thanks for the assist, but you can get off the stage now. And so our audience wishes a closer look, it seems. Back up into the stands with you. We're acting here, friend. Well, one of us is. And so, yes? Understudy says, and though it may splinter my soul, I will not. Dang, what's the line? Oh, just warming up. On 1, 2. There was a fair maid from Ansinze, a wanderer from southern lands. Though she set all the lads to a frenzy, towards my heart she held in her hands. The benches are strewn with chicken bones, broken bottles, and greasy scraps of paper.
Let's see what we found.
Lumdala. The statuesque woman has a gaze that could cut stone. She turns her chiseled cheekbones to the sky and favors you with a look of acknowledgement. Her eyes shimmer under silvered eyeshadow and a razor-precise line of kohl. Before you can speak, she throws her hand up in dramatic fashion.
Good day, stranger.
Lumdala says, "Autographs after the performance, please. Great art requires great concentration, and greatness is expected from the revel of stars." Arismital says, "What do you do?" Lumdala says, "That depends entirely on the demands of the role." Lumdala lays a slender hand on her chest. "I am the pallid knight, the widow of the wood, and the warrior Queen Mokga, all at different times. To live a different life each day is a glorious thing indeed, my friend." "I suppose I can spare a moment for a fan." Arismital says, "What is the revel of stars?" Lumdala says, "We are the finest theater troupe in the city. We believe that the best art is immersive and true to life." Lumdala looks at the amphitheater with a rapturous expression. "We stage our performances right here in Copperlane for the edification of all." Arismital asks, "Does the Revel of Stars take in many new members?" Lumdala says, "But of course, good drama is a balm to the soul, and we wish to offer a true theatrical experience to as many as possible." Arismital asks, "What kind of members do you take?" Lumdala says, "We'll take in the new and old, the tall and small, the experienced and inexperienced, whoever is best suited to fulfill a role to the utmost." Arismital asks, "How long do you keep members?" Lumdala says, "As long as they are able to satisfy the demands of their roles." Lumdala smooths a wayward strand of hair. True acting can be a grueling process, so some last longer than others. Arismital says, "I'd like to ask something else." Lumdala says, "Very well. If you happen to know any aspiring thespians, please send them my way." Lumdala's lips stretch into a hungry smile. "We always have a place for novices." Arismital says, "Farewell."
Gods keep you.
Lumdala says, "I really should spend this time getting into character." Kadal says, "Sorry, I can't talk right now." Oaken Scarab figurine. This wooden beetle has had a lifelike detail carefully burned into the carved shell. Tiny barbs are etched onto its legs, and its folded wings bear mazy patterns. Blascon, a common sight in the Deerwood. Blascon is fashioned from sonred liquor and the boiled sap from Glanfathan trees. It's known to lend a sense of heightened alertness to the user, though it leaves one feeling worn and lethargic once it wears off.
Nice and quiet.
Refugee says, I didn't want to come here, but my village wasn't safe anymore. If Animances caused the legacy, they have a lot to answer for. These days, it's rare to find folks who'll do so much for strangers. What? What is this scream? Actor says... Wait, there's so many conversations. From the actors, I missed it. Let's read it. Actor says, I've sailed from the shores of the Empire to the grace of Siamera, traded words with the hardy people of Nasitak, and blows with the fearsome Aumawa of Rawatai. Why, I've even set my eyes on the Maigefolk and lived to tell the tale. Audience member gasps. Actor says, what? Only looked at them? None would dare more. Well, look now, there's one behind you. Aye! That must be the Orlan. The one who says, look, there's one behind you. That must be the Orlan. Mercenary says, we are the ones who beat Reatseras in the Saints' War. Commoner says, maybe we could go down for a quick look and come right back out. Say we found nothing. What's this we? Dalton's your friend, not mine. Okay, listen girls. We've been to the catacombs. We're dealing with Dalton's issues. Don't go down there, okay? It is dangerous. Commoner says, nice to see you. I hear you've got an estate that rivals anything in Brackenbury. Yes, it is called Kait Nua. Have you been to the expedition hall yet? You might find your type of work there. The Crucible Knights have been warning everyone to stay out of the catacombs. They're not safe anymore. That is correct. I am witness to such dangers. Prius says, another ship lost. A Valian merchant vessel dashed against the merciless rocks. No survivors. Still, Ondra's beacon lies dormant, its doors barred to all. The waters claim many souls this season. Please move along. I have a long list to get through. Peregun. I see. Peregun says, hello again. The Orlan woman says in a familiar tone, thanks for visiting my store. I'm still trying to recover from losing that cargo. Peregun says with a huff, My inventory isn't what it used to be, but hopefully I've got something you like. Arismital says, show me your wares. Peregun says, adventuring supplies, you need them, I have them. The Orlan woman says with a smile, care to see my selection? Arismital asks, are you selling any daggers made of March steel? Peregun says, March steel? I wish I had some to sell you, but alas, I do not. Look for Igrun, the weaponsmith. Here's the Aumawa over there. He often has a robust selection. Best to ask him. Is there anything I can do for you? Arismita leaves.
Let's see what lies this way.
How do you do?
Laura. The young woman stands by a cart, watching the crowd with large bright eyes that focus on you as you approach. Take your time, traveler. If you're looking for enchanted scrolls or garb, you've come to the right place. Arismital asks, are you selling a dagger made of March steel? Laura stands on the tips of her toes and points to a stall between the stairs. You must be looking for Igrun. See that tall Aumawa over there? He sells weaponry. Anything else I can do for you? Arismital says, show me your wares.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Justicia says, Igrun's weapons are decent, but nothing compared to what we make at First Fire's Keep. Only the best soldiers get to patrol the palace. Got to laugh now and then, right? Says a commoner. If you're a scholar, you'll want to visit the Hall of Revealed Mysteries.
Good day, stranger.
Narmer, the merchant, smiles brightly. Well met, traveler. Are you interested in purchasing any rations for your journeys? Arismital asks, are you selling a dagger made of March steel? Narmer blinks at you. Apologies, but I sell no weapons here, only fruits, vegetables and meat. Would you be interested in any of those? Arismital says, show me your wares.
Nice and quiet.
Let's keep quiet.
Igrun.
Good day to you.
Igrun stands behind a stall, polishing a broadsword. The patterned flesh around his eyes is crinkled with age, and the muscles in his arms are knotty and lean, but he holds the weapon with ease. He nods at you. Come to take a look? You won't find a finer collection of armor and weaponry in Defiance Bay, outside Sonild's, of course. Igrun flashes a crooked grin. Arismital asks, What's so special about Sonilde? Igrun says she operates in the expedition hall. Igrun jerks a thumb over his shoulder, sells the best equipment in the city, but Wenan keeps her on a short leash, keeps her fine inventory reserved for chartered expeditionists, members of the dozens, and anyone else he takes a liking to. Wait, so is Sonilde a he or a she? First Igrun refers to her as a she, and then Igrun refers to him as a he. I'm confused. Arismital says, I'm looking for a particular dagger made of much steel. Igrun says, just like the Crucible Knights use, let me guess, you've been talking to that kid, right? Igrun laughs and shakes his head. I'd be tempted to sell it to you anyways and let the little rascal learn his lesson, but a pack of adventurers already took it off my hands. Arismital says, if much steel daggers only given to Crucible Knights, how did you get your hands on one? Igrun pauses mid-polish, his cloth slowing over the blade. A lot of steel passes through my hands, friend. I don't make it my business to ask where it all comes from. Arismital says, if you give me a small discount at your store, the Crucible Knights don't need to know where it came from either. Igrun grunts and rolls his eyes. Fine, 5% to avoid the hassle. Last thing I need is a shakedown from them. What with my stall being so close to Atmeth's den and the dozens. Anything in particular you'd like to see? Arismital says, tell me more about the dagger. Igrun oils the cloth in his hand, made out of a high purity iron ore that comes out of the White March Mountains. Traditionally, the smiths at the Crucible Keep have smelted it into daggers and swords, which they only give to the Knights of the Crucible. Of course, I'd be surprised if that kid didn't already tell you all of this. Igrun grins. Arismital says, those adventurers you sold the dagger to, where are they now? Igrun says, folk like that only visit Copperlane to crew up at Atmeth's Den Expedition Hall, or down a pint at the Goose and Fox, and since they weren't headed into the den, well, you've got my best guess. So they're headed to the Goose and Fox? Arismital says, let me see what you have for sale.
Let's see what lies this way.
Commoner says, the Copperlane marketplace has everything you could ever want to buy. Some of the plays they put on at the amphitheater are quite good. Their shields have been battered and scarred in long ago battles.
I shall be discreet.
Langdon says, "Right, everyone knows the plan." Dirty Rickbert says, "Up the wall and in the window. Grab the jewel for the pretty little lord. We got it." Langdon says, "Listen, dwarf, if I have to." Daisy says, "Langdon, we have company." Arismital says, "Greetings." Dirty Rickbert, the dwarf, eyes you suspiciously and hides his pistol behind his back. "You are looking for someone, because this isn't the best." Langdon rounds on the dwarf. "Idiot, they're probably with the Crucible Knights." "You've made a grave mistake coming here." Langdon raises his blade. "Wait a minute, Mr. Langdon. I am not with the Crucible Knights." Thieves' letter. Our contacts inside Raymond Manor will leave a second-story window ajar. He's confirmed the location of the heart of the White March in a hidden chamber. Get your crew together and head to Brackenbury before Lord Raymond moves the jewel. A.D. Anno Domini. Tell somebody about the plot. Who? The Crucible Knights?
Let's see what lies this way.
I'll handle this. It's done.
A few bedrolls and spare tunics are bundled in the corner. Long jagged tears slice across the garden scene in this painting. Oh, long jagged tears, not tears.
Let's see what we found.
House Domino. I think I've read this one before, right? I think I read this book back in Kait Nua. Yeah, I think I read this book in Kait Nua. And the Crucible Knights NPC talked about the dominoes, thinking that they are the law of the city. Huh. Interesting. Muddy bootprints and splotches of ale stain the bed sheets. Ew, disgusting.
It's done.
Dunried Row. The origins and practices of Dunried Row are okay. I remember. I was visited by a messenger. The messenger told me to meet Lady Webb. Messenger of Dunried Row or something like that. I don't remember. The origins and practices of Dunried Row are difficult to nail down. When asked, everyone seems to know how Dunried Row started, and how long it's been in operation. Yet every person asked gives a different account of its creation and a different date. The only thing everyone can agree on is that it seems to have been around as long as anyone can remember. Without fail, everyone recalls hearing about the exploits of Dunried Row when they were children. Aside from the organization being comprised of special investigators, most of whom seem to be ciphers, and the fact that they seem to have their hands in everything, yet never admit to it. Anything reported about Dunried Row walks the line between truth and outright hearsay. Information abounds, but no one can say which fragments are truth and which are fiction. I will provide all I've uncovered and leave it to the readers to decide for themselves, as all of it feels both plausible and unbelievable at turns. The group is supposedly named after the street where its headquarters are located, in a building called Hadred House. It is said in some circles this is just the name they want people to think they're known by. Their real headquarters, people whisper, is elsewhere. Why would they do this? It's simple. It's far easier for them to infiltrate, to hide, to carry on behind the scenes if everyone is concentrating on Dunried Row. Divert attention where you want people to look, and you can act behind their backs with impunity. People who have had interactions with agents from Dunried Row invariably describe them as unmemorable. No detail as to their appearance, behavior, or anything, beyond the fact that they were there, seems to stick with anyone. Are they truly nondescript, or do their ciphers use their powers to remain anonymous? As with so many questions regarding Dunried Row, no one seems to know. While no specific details about the agents are ever reported, one fact that all people agree with is that they seem primarily to be Orlans and Glanfathan elves, though theories as to why this may be are many and conflicting. Interesting. A secret group operating within Defiance Bay, a city in Deerwood. Its members are primarily Orlans and Glanfathan elves. The races that make up the demography of the Glanfathan tribes, the ones that Deerwood was at war with. So why are they the primary members of Dunried Row, operating within Defiance Bay? Right in Deerwood's territory. Something is not right here. Their presumed headquarters is supposedly run by Lady Aedes Webb, though no one seems able to pinpoint the time of her arrival. The author was unable to locate a single person familiar with Dunried Row who could remember a time when she wasn't around. Yeah, the messenger told me to meet with this Lady Webb. Many things are hinted at behind closed doors about Lady Webb, but few are willing to elaborate, for it is rumored that although she has not left Hadred House since anyone can remember, she is a cipher of tremendous power, and that she can read the thoughts of the entire city at will. Theories abound regarding her age, her reasons for what would seem to be a lifetime of seclusion, and even of her secret control over all of Defiance Bay, if not Deerwood itself. But as with all other matters regarding the organization, no one seems to be able to say anything for sure. If it's true that Deerwood controlled by a group of Orlans and Glanfathan elves, if the people find out about this, if this is true and the truth comes to light, the people of Deerwood will be in uproar. They will be shocked that their nation is ruled by people from the land that they were at war with in the past. If this is true, and if the information comes out, there's going to be an upheaval. Atmeth's den. The shields have been battered and scarred in long ago battles.
Mercenaries. All fancy weapons and no skill.
Are you sure, Sagani? Are you sure about mercenaries having no skills? Maybe you have your past encounters with mercenaries. Unpleasant, I take it. And I assume it was a conflict. You have to fight them before? Maybe. Mercenary says, forget the keep. Atmeth's den is the real heart of Defiance Bay. You look like you've seen a thing or two in the wilds. Yes, I've seen a beerwick, and I've seen some people with masks and robes operating a strange device at the ruins of Silantlis. I've been on a few expeditions. Good money if you return in one piece. What if you don't return in one piece? Book of the Hunt. When my students ask to be taught the way of Galawain, I tell them they have already. Okay, it's not that I'm not interested in reading this text, but a lot of text reading is. I don't have the energy for a lot of text reading. I know I'm a very basic and noobish reader. So reading a lot of text, I'm okay with reading a lot of text without speaking it. But if I read it out loud like this for the purpose of recording, I don't have the energy for that. So I'm going to read the title of the book. Then if you're interested to know the content, you can then search the internet to read it yourself. Or if you want to read it now on the screen, I will give just 1 to 2 seconds each page, so you have time to pause the video to read and then unpause again to continue. Alright? Excerpts from the Sermon of Struggle. The Dozens. Okay, sorry. I wish they have more budget to voice act all these texts and books and notes. It would be easier for someone who record a playthrough like me. For those who are playing, if I don't record my gameplay, if I just play this game for myself, not for uploading, I would read them all because I don't need to read them out loud. I can read them in my heart, in my head. But reading them out loud like this, a lots of text like this, I don't have the energy nor the will to do that. I am sorry. Wait, what? Oh. Who's that? Bandon Lair. A well-groomed man steps through the hall with a confident swagger, a smug grin etched on his face. He is flanked by 5 other hard-looking individuals. BNA, the Nimble. Is it BNA or is it Bine? Let's assume it's Bine. Bine the Nimble. One of his companions eyes you for a moment before spitting chew at your feet. Another pup come wandering and I see. Just know that Bine's giant slayers run things around here and you'll be fine. Why? Why did he have... why did he do that? He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to spitting chew at my feet. That's gross. Arismital asks, can I join? Bine the Nimble laughs. Around here, we get our pick of the best adventurers, and we don't take charity cases. Wenan, a voice bellows across the hall. Enough jabber, Bine. You gonna do the job or talk about it? Bine jaws tightens. Wenan's right. That coin ain't going to collect itself. He looks at his comrades and jerks his chin toward the door. See you around, pup. Why is this Bine fellow singling me out? This is my first time at this place. What is this place called? Atmeth's Den. And why did this Bine suddenly target me for his verbal abuse? I have no history with him. What the heck is going on?
Hey. Strange place for a shrine to Abidan, Crucible Keep. Maybe it made more sense at some point before it gathered all that dust. The only thing the Knights of the Crucible worship these days is the nobility, as far as I understand it.
They worship the nobility? So they're not acting for the people. They're acting for the nobility. Classic case of instruments meant for the people being abused for those in power for their own gain. Adair says, I knew some soldiers who got recruited by the knights after the war was over. They told me some about it. They get these young kids in there and they tell them about blacksmithing and about the revolution and about tradition. Talk about the golem like he created the Crucible Knights in his forge. To go win Deerwood's independence. Oh, golems? Adair says, then they join, and it turns out all any of those knights ever talk about is when are we gonna get recognized as a real knighthood? When are we getting our titles and our land? Their High Justice wants to be an earl, says it's Abidon's will. He's got a castle and an army. You wonder how long he'll wait before he starts a war over it? Saying Abidon told him to. Ooh. This is some insight from Adair. He's saying that the High Justice, assuming he's the leader of the Crucible Knights, is ready to start a war against Deerwood, so that they have their own land. Ah, interesting. Arismital says, it seems like some members do still take their ideals seriously. Adair says, you see it with the older knights, some of them, they were taught differently. I feel for them, seeing all that slowly wearing away around them, with nothing to be done because the wrong people are in charge. The wrong people are in charge? Ah, You mean the High Justice? Who is this High Justice? Adair says, shame they don't have better people leading them. I see.
Let's keep quiet.
How may I help?
Yes?
Laying low.
Korean. Kleruzema.
I shall.
I'll see what I can find.
Wenan. Wait, what is this? Daggers mark the locations of various Angwithan ruins. Notes posted around the map list bets on current expeditions. Wait, you guys sending expeditions to Angwithan ruins? I thought... I don't remember where I read it. Maybe I read it in the game, in one of the books, or maybe I read it on the internet during my off recording time, catching up with the books I encountered. But isn't there a treaty between Deerwood and the Glanfathan tribes that the Deerwoodans wouldn't enter the Angwithan ruins? So they are violating the treaty. This is bad news. This could create another war.
Don't stand on ceremony. State your business.
Wenan, this rough-looking man glances at you briefly as he scans the mercenaries milling around the room. Arismital says, tell me about the dozens. Wenan's expression becomes serious, the timbre of his voice deepening. Good men and women trying to walk in the footsteps of great men and women who came before us. We're a loose association of warriors and expeditionaries in the Deerwood, not as fancy as your friends in the Crucible Knights, but at least we remember our roots. Adair says, at least they remember someone else's roots and pretend to be like them, he means. Arismital asks, your roots? Wenan says, the Crucible Knights take pride in having won the Deerwood's freedom 150 years ago. But we are the ones who've protected it. Everyone knows that the Saints' War ended when the god Hammer destroyed the White Wen at Avon Dewer Bridge. A lot of folks don't know how White Wen wound up on that bridge. 7 men, 5 women. They walked out of Halgod's citadel and faced down a god, held him there until the bomb went off. Wenan thumps the table. That's the legacy we defend. Some call us mercenaries, but we don't need matching armor and silky cloaks to remember our roles. We're the same now as we were then. We stand up for the people. First line of defense, whatever it takes. We got new enemies now. If it's not Whitewind, it's his danged legacy. It's the dang soul butchers in Brackenbury making things worse on all of us. Probably causing the whole thing, one way or another. Well, we haven't gone anywhere, and there's a lot of more than 12 of us now. We defended Deerwood once, we'll do it again. I remember Captain Odema said something about the soul butchers. Is this the same soul butchers in Brackenbury? Wenan casually nods your way. His eyes continue to float from mercenary to mercenary as he speaks. What else do you need? Arismital says, I'm looking for work.
Go see Osric. He's usually got something. You do well for him, maybe I can find you more.
Wenan looks you up and down. Finally, he points to a man leading drills. Arismital says, farewell.
Let's keep quiet. I'll handle this. It's done.
Osric. Keep your guard up, or I'll give you something to guard, dang you, says Osric. That stance is gonna get you killed. Have you even held a weapon before? Put some weight into that swing.
For the last time, Aidwig, keep your fucking blade up! If that dummy was armed, it'd have your head off!
Osric watches the training adventurers with the disinterested contempt of someone whose skills are wasted in this setting. He barks at one of them. Arismittel says, "Tell me about the expedition hull." Osric says, "It's treasure hunting, plain and simple. Sponsors put up money, hire adventurers to explore the wilds, looking for ruins mostly. If they come back alive, they split the spoils. If not, it's because they handle their weapons like this lot in front of me, who might as well be digging their own graves right now. Hey, Osric, isn't it a violation of the treaty to plunder the ruins? I'm telling the Glanfatan tribes. Unless you pay me." Osric says, "Got business with me?" Arismittel says, "I need to hire an adventurer." Osric grunts, "Maybe more than one, by the look of you." "Ow! Why did you have to hurt my feelings?" Osric says, "I'll show you who's available." Osric says, "Got business with me?" Arismittel says, "I'm looking for work."
You want an expedition? Talk to Wenan. I just handle these mercenary shit shovelers! Adventurers, I mean.
Wenan clears his throat in the background, and Osric's mouth puckers. Although Osric sizes you up, I do have something I need done, something that requires... Osric glances sidelong at an adventurer flailing away helplessly at a dummy. Competence. Arismittel says, "I was more looking for an expedition. I'll talk to Wenan about it."
You want an expedition? Talk to Wenan.
Arismittel asks, "What do you need done?"
I was formerly one of the Knights of the Crucible. When I left, they kept my arms and armor. The arms they can have, but the armor belonged to my family. I'd like it back.
Arismittel asks, "Why don't you just go ask for it back?"
No. Oh, they'd like that, I'm sure. But I won't be going. Sooner be torn apart by dogs than give them the satisfaction.
Osric looks away from you, his jaw protruding. Arismittel says, "Doesn't sound like leaving the Crucible Knights was your choice."
You don't choose to leave knighthood. The Crucible Knights, they may not be a real knighthood, but the oaths you swear are just as true.
Osric stares off for a moment.
Still, turns out that even unofficial knighthoods have politics. You cross the wrong man, suddenly all kinds of accusations are thrown your way, and nobody believes you.
Adair says, "Nothing more destructive than a crowd with the wrong idea." Arismittel asks, "What's this armor?"
It's a breastplate. Not much to look at, and it's seen far too much use, but it's been in my family since the liberation.
Okay, where can I find it? Arismittel says, "I'll see what I can do."
Then it's Penhelm you're looking for. A low snake of a man. If he was to die choking on his own black tongue, it'd be too kind a fate. He kept it when he had me kicked out.
Osric nods with a trace of gratitude. Okay, so Penhelm kicked Osric out. Yeah, I encountered this Penhelm. I'll speak to him. Osric leans in closer. I got word from a reliable source that Penhelm visited a forger in Ondra's gift right after having his soul lineage read by a cipher in Dunried Row. Should you have it in your heart to find a way to ruin his life while you're there, well, drinks on me. Adesmittel asks, having his soul lineage read?
It's a requirement to join the Knights. They have to ensure a novitiate doesn't have a subversive lineage. If Penhelm's superiors found out his affidavit was a fake, his career would be over. Every novitiate gets an affidavit from Dunreed Row, and those are stored at Crucible Keep. If you find Penhelm's, one of those ciphers could tell you if it's real.
Ah, I see. I see. Sagani scratches the back of her neck. If generations of Masuk's traditions are any indication, this Penhelm probably doesn't remember it. Still, a past like that has to count for something. Adesmittel says farewell. Osric says, let me know how it goes with the Knights.
I'm on the trail.
The outer bands of this target are pocked with countless holes. Mercenary says, forget the keep. Atmesden is the real heart of Defiance Bay. I need to buy a new keyboard. My current keyboard is too big. I need a smaller keyboard. Most of the ruins worth exploring are out past Ford. We are the ones who beat Reat Seras in the Saints' War. Duke Ivar is a man of the people. He won't let this animancy nonsense go on. Don't mind Osric. The keep chewed him up and spat him out. He's still angry. The Duke doesn't care about our illegal expeditions. The Knights do. Ah yes, the mercenary himself said it. It's illegal. You're breaking the treaty with the Glanfathan tribes. Someone scrawled Commander Cleaver across this dummy in chalk. Could it be the former Crucible Knight, Osric? The edges of the swords have been blunted for practice. Arrows are for practice in the expedition hall only. Purchase weapons for personal use from Sonild. No exceptions. Signed, Osric. Mercenary says, you look like you've seen a thing or two in the wilds. So Neild, this is time for us to find the answer. It is a he or a she. I think it's a she. I can't zoom any closer. Let me hear its voice.
I'll handle this.
Then I'll be able to discern whether it's a man or a woman.
It's done.
And also let me check this person's neck. Is there Adam's apple there? So Neild.
Good day to you.
Is a woman, no. The woman looks up from polishing a dagger. Haven't seen you before. You headed out with an expedition company? So Neild raises an eyebrow. Or are you betting on one? Arismital asks, how long have you worked at Atmeth's den? Sonil leans on the countertop and drums her fingers. Oh, a few years. I got in the minute the last merchant cleared out. Sonil nods toward the main area of the hall. They've got new expeditions venturing out every week, so this is a great place to do business. And the dozens make loyal friends and loyal customers, so long as you stick by them. Sonil taps the counter. The vendor who was here before me, they ran him out when he sold his best helms to a pair of Crucible Knights. I've been careful not to make the same mistakes. Tension between the Crucible Knights and the dozens. Arismital says, tell me about the expeditions. Sonil says, they are groups of adventurers that venture into the wilderness. More than a few of them try their luck scouring the ruins. Most of them come back empty-handed, if they come back at all. Betting on them is almost as risky as actually going, but that's how the expeditions get funded, and every once in a while one of the adventuring companies will strike it big and make a fortune for their backers. Arismital says, can I buy something? Sonil says, I'm afraid not. See, the dozens only do business with me so long as I only do business with them, and they are good customers. Sonil jerks her thumb at the door. But if you get on Osric's good side, he could make an exception for you. He's probably training some of the new recruits right now. Arismital says farewell.
I'm on the trail.
I'll handle this. It's done. I'll have this open in no time.
Geological map. This map marks areas of geological activity in the Dyrwood and Eirglanfath. Of note is a description of a cavern where molten rock flows within a deep chasm. Tie kit. Oh, quest item, geological map added to the stash. Authan the Ingenious.
Let's see what lies this way.
Cat. There's a cat. Oh, I can't interact with it. Why? Mercenary? Addict? A couple of crude beds have been improvised from an assortment of tattered blankets and pillows. Dribbles of some dark liquid stain the fabric. Addict says, wait, what's happening? Am I imagining this? Purnish always has the best supply. Oh, Purnish is a supplier? A supplier of what? Dark liquid? I can't believe Purnish is letting us use his place. He never let us do that before. This your first time here? You'll be back, I'm telling you. I'll see it again. I will. I have to. What is it? A noble? What? A wealthy noble by the name of Lord Sidrock has arrived at the stronghold. He seeks your aid in defending his keep from his rivals. Ah, my aid? Come on. Maybe later. In 8 days, still a long time. Let me finish my business here first. Sevev. Mercenary. Feel free to make yourself comfortable down here. Top floors off limits. Purnish is the man to talk to if you want to buy. Don't start any trouble. Try not to break any of the furniture. Are they expensive? If you aren't here to buy anything, get gone. Someone has peeled the labels from these bottles. They're stuffed with a dark, gunky pulp that gives off a pungent odor. This book of Vailian love sonnets has a dedication on the first page to my beloved Kainra. Purnish.
Welcome.
The man before you flashes you a toothy and rather unpleasant grin. Well now, a new face. Welcome friend, name's Purnish, and this? He gestures to the room around you. Is my humble abode and place of business. And I do hope you're in here to do some business. Purnish glances at the nearby guard. Arismittal says, seems like a lot of guards for one man. You must be popular. Purnish raises a brow. Sure, right, very perceptive. This business attracts some less pleasant types. Sometimes the clientele get a little pushy, and every so often someone even turns out to be snooping into things they shouldn't, and lessons have to be taught. Purnish's face shivers with a quick, unreadable emotion. I'm sure you're too smart to get wrapped up in all of that, of course. I keep it simple. If you have the coin, I have the Sevev. You're free to make use of the premises, so long as you don't do anything stupido and you don't get to tangling with the other customers now. Purnish claps his hands together. What can I get you? You mentioned Sevev? I just found a Sevev in one of the drawers in this house. Why would I need more Sevev? Arismittal asks, what is Sevev? Purnish says, you serious? Purnish eyes you with suspicion, then disbelief. Sevev's worth every pound, my friend, is incredible. Lets you see your own soul, and you're looking at Defiance Base first and foremost Sevev merchant. Arismittal says, let me have a look at your stock. Olsevev. Uncover what happened at Purnish house in Copperlane, huh?
How do you do?
Purnish grins. You're back. Anything I can do for you? Arismital gives Purnish Kainra's ring. Kainra asked me to give you this. Purnish takes the ring and turns it around in his fingers. Nice. What's this for? Arismital says, no wonder Kainras left you. Purnish laughs. Oh yeah, I see now. She's making a statement, is she? Good riddance to her, then. Sorry I ever spent a coin to begin with. Now is that all? Arismital says, seems a difficult thing to forget, giving your grandmother's ring to someone. Purnish says, maybe she's just not worth remembering, eh? Purnish snorts. While you're playing lapdog for her and all, why don't you go back and tell her to keep clear of here? Arismital asks, how dare you hit your own fiancé? How can you live with yourself? Purnish says, she was asking for it. Purnish growls, sort of like you right now. Maybe you ought to quit digging around in affairs that don't concern you. Me, I've got business to get back to. Purnish points, doors that way. Arismital says, something's not right here, and I don't plan on leaving until I find out what's going on. Purnish eyes is narrow. Then you won't be leaving at all, my friend. I was tired of wearing this face anyhow. Purnish raises his voice. Guards, to me. Okay. Oh, someone with a robe? Nierit says, stop. Nierit staggers back, holding a bloody hand in front of him. I give up. Just leave, and I'll go peacefully. All right? Arismital says, you can go peacefully into my dungeon. Nierit flinches, regret already building behind his eyes. If that's my only choice. Why are you guys still foolishly fighting? Your boss is already taken under custody. You should have surrendered or flee. Then you would still keep your lives. Such a waste of life. By not surrendering or fleeing.
And what does the flame reveal?
The pots are crusted with some unidentifiable gunk. The white that wins. Rusty bronze key, a small bronze key that was found in Purnish's house.
Laying low.
It appears as though someone rummaged through this uneven row of books in a hurry. These jars are chipped and cracked, as if knocked to the ground and set back in place. Idiran dialects. Okay, I read this section. Ea creates an Ea, sound that sounds like the colloquial salutation Heya. Ao sounds like Ao. This sound is still used in the modern word Eora. A is pronounced as Eye, such as in Wraith. Oh, A. Ue and U both create long U sounds, as in loop. Ue, U, okay. Y sounds like A, sounds as in B. E, Yi. E. Oh, Ygritte, like Lord Raedric's wife, Ygritte. GJ sounds like the consonant Y as in you. You. Ye, you. Gejo, you. SC sounds like sh, so you'd pronounce cop like shop. Oh, okay. So it's not scop, it's not scop, it's not sasop, it's shop. So one of the members of the group that ventured down into the endless path of Ordnua, I think her name was Saseda. So it's not Saseda, it's Shada. Shada. I see. Saseda, Shada. I see. CG sounds like the DGE end of a word like hedge. Hedge, CG. Okay. It is not uncommon for given names of Idirans, Dirwudans, and Reatserans to come from Eld Idiran. Some examples. What is Eld Idiran? Eld Idiran is a dead language. Eld Idiran, the old elven language that was spoken in the Idiran Empire back before the pioneer settlers of the Dirwood built their long ships. Oh, it is the language of the Idiran Empire. I see. So, if Eld Idiran is an old elven language, does that mean the Idiran Empire is an elven empire? Interesting. So Idir is not a human empire. It's an elven empire. Interesting. It is not uncommon for given names of Idirans, Dirwudans, and Reatserans to come from Eld Idiran. Some examples. Alduin is pronounced Alduin because of the long vowel sound on the Y. Oh, Alduin. Durnish is pronounced Durnish, yep. Since the final SC cluster sounds like an SH sound. Yester is pronounced Yester on account of the GJ consonant cluster. Sledge is pronounced like sledge. What was this one? Thirsch is pronounced Thirsch. Okay. This one is Ushgrim. Yes. Ushgrim is Ushgrim and not Uskgrim. Okay, I'm sorry. Ingmar is pronounced Ingmar, leading with a vowel sound. Aye, okay. The Light of Dawn, a Red Seren Morality play. Part 1, Charity and Generosity. Sorry about that. Wait, is that an Aumaua? Oh, an Aumaua female. I like tall women. Oh, says Purnish. Oh, so this is Purnish. The one down below is Nirid, an impostor. One side of the overturned vase is splotched with crimson. Oh, blood? Someone has gathered sheets and towels into a makeshift bed. The rumpled fabric is stiff with blood and unwashed sweat. Ugh, disgusting. Purnish. A man lies bound and bloodied on the floor before you. His face is a tapestry of bruises, and blood is spattered across several corners of the room. The man cringes and sobs as you approach. Purnish says, "Gods, please, please, no more. I can't take it anymore." Arismital says, "I'm not here to hurt you." Purnish pauses, gazing up at you. You're not? Oh, praise Berath. You're not one of his men, are you? Purnish glances nervously behind you. Purnish shakes his head. "Please, I don't know who you are, but my name is Purnish. This is my house. You have to help me." Arismital asks, "Then who was that downstairs?" Purnish says, An impostor. Some wizard named Nirid. He came into my house, tied me up in here, tortured me, and now he and his men are eating my food, breaking my things, selling Sevef inside my own house." Purnish blinks. Arismital says, "This would be a lot easier if you weren't trying to hide something." Purnish looks away, unable to meet your gaze. "I may have hung onto a tiny portion of my supplier's share, but I needed the money." "What?" Arismital says, "So, you're a Sevef dealer." Purnish winces. "Look, I know it's not the best line of work, especially with all that's happened, but it pays well, very, very well, and, well, people want the stuff, don't they?" Arismital asks, "What did your supplier do?" Purnish says, "He sent over the wizard, Nirid, the man downstairs." Purnish shudders. "To make up the lost copper, I guess, and to hurt me while he was at it. It feels like it's been days." Arismital asks, "Why should I help you?" Purnish looks crestfallen. Because it's the right thing to do." Okay, look, Nirid took all of my money, but he still has it. If you kill him, he's bound to have most of it on his person. You can have all of it." I took him into the dungeon. Should I kill him and loot him? No, I will not. If I can help it, I will not torture or kill a prisoner. Arismital says, "He's already taken care of." Purnish stares at you. "I can't believe this nightmare is finally over." Purnish grins weakly, then seems to remember something. "You've no idea what you've done for me, but..." Purnish looks up at you and away again. "I need to find my love, Kainra, only after whatever Nirid put her through. I'm afraid she won't give me a chance to explain, but she might listen to you. Please, she must be somewhere in Copperlane. It's the only home she's known. And please don't tell her about the Sevef, about what I do. I could make it worth your while. A discount, maybe?" Arismital says, "Kainra sent me here in the first place." Purnish says, "She did? Purnish smiles brightly. That woman helped save my life without realizing it. Please bring her home and tell her that everything is back to normal. Arismital says, I'll go talk to her. Purnish says, I can't thank you enough, truly. How I've missed my poor Kainra. Thank you for all your help. If you find Kainra, I promise I'll make it worth your while.
Hello? Hello?
Shut up, Kana. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Sorry, Kana. Wait, where are all the addicts? They're gone? They must have fled when they heard the fighting. Ah, no, don't hurt me. Run away. Now let's go to Kainra. And also, we have something to do back there, right? Igrun told us that the people we're looking for, they're not heading towards Atmes Den. And he implies they're heading towards the Goose Fox Inn. Even the most daring of adventurers must keep their strength, says the crier. For fresh, filling bread, see Hemia of Gilded Vale, fine deerwood, bread, made from fine deerwood grain. Broken branch.
Let's keep quiet.
The Goose and Fox. Okay, let's speak to Kainra. Kainra looks up at you as you approach. What happened with Purnish? Did you give him the ring? Purnish was being impersonated by a powerful wizard. However, the real Purnish also deals Sevev. Should I be honest to Kainra? But Purnish told me that he would give me a reward if I bring Kainra back. But it is Kainra who first employed me. So, by honor, I have to be loyal to Kainra. At least, I don't see any reason to double-cross her. Should I be honest or should I lie? Arismital says Purnish was being impersonated by a powerful wizard. However, the real Purnish also deals Sevev. Defiance Bay minor positive. This is I like. Kainra covers her mouth with her hand, shocked. Purnish, my Purnish is a Sevev dealer. If I didn't know you for an honest man. Kainra brings her fist down on the table, sloshing her drink. Dang it. How can I trust him after something like this? That he's lied to me for this long. Kainra runs her hands through her hair and takes a deep breath. I should just be glad I found out about this before the wedding. Oh, before the wedding? You guys are about to get married? Okay, should I? But okay, first I didn't betray Kainra. I did what she asked me to do, to find out about Purnish, and I didn't lie to her about Purnish being a Savef dealer. That one point I have already achieved. I did not betray Kainra. And now, since I have done what I have been asked to do, now my concern is to get the reward from Purnish. So I will try to persuade her to not to come back to Purnish. Besides, it wasn't even Purnish who hit her. I assume it was Nirid who slapped Kainra when Nirid was still disguising himself as Purnish. So it was not Purnish who committed the violence towards Kainra. Arismital asks, he still loves you. Do you really want to give up on your future together? Kainra says, perhaps you're right. If he's willing to give it up, we can work this out. Seems worthwhile to give him a chance. Anyway, well, you're willing to give him a chance? I don't know if Purnish will change, but I hope whatever happens, Purnish will stay the same man that loves you and did not hit you, unlike Nirid. And you, too. I hope you don't end up being someone who hits Purnish just because he doesn't hit you. Got it, Kainra? Kainra says, oh, and take this. Kainra unclasped something from her neck. Picked it up from one of the merchants to help me stand firm in my decision. I'll be fine without it now. Gain an item, unwavering resolve. Woohoo! Purnish and I have a lot to work through now, says Kainra. Wait, something's going on? Oh, Saint Ifen's not. The burglar. Stealing the artifacts, right? The relics. Let's see. In Emirgal, Nasu met with priests of Abidon to discuss the mystery of who had stolen the Smith's Hall artifacts and for what purpose. During the investigation, a quirky priest of Weil lent the group his bizarre form of help answers to the thieves' riddles posed as different riddles. After tracking down each stolen artifact through a series of additional clues, Nasu and the priest of Abidon realized that the priest of Weil was the thief. Very pleased with himself, he had no objection to being captured and sent to the Earl of Emir for punishment. When Nasu left the priests of Abidon, they were still trying to determine the point of the theft. There was no point. He was just a kleptomaniac, maybe. Minor items. Defense Cradle. Beneficial effect suspended for 20 seconds. Skeins of magical energy entangle enemies in the area of effect, binding up beneficial effects for the duration. Oh, it's to be used against the enemies. Alright. I found Nirid in Copperlane, a hired thug impersonating a Savef dealer who owed a debt to his supplier. He was using the identity to sell Savef and thereby recoup the supplier's losses. Okay, so this sentence implies that Nirid himself is not the supplier. Nirid also works for the supplier, like Purnish. So who is this supplier, I wonder?
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Now where can I find the group that Igrun mentioned about? He said that they didn't go to the Atmeth's den, and he implies they went to the Goose and Fox. Where is this group? Maybe upstairs? Yeah. Oh, yeah. This one? Urdi. Dreadshot Didon. Ilfa. Key. Two-tone. Weaxel. Best to visit. Unslocks compass by land. Too many ships been wrecked by the reefs there, said Hurdi. Didon here claims he can hit a pan from a rolling deck. A burly Aumaua raises a hand in greeting. Dreadshot Didon says, I'm itching for some target practice. The man twirls a pistol on his finger. Didon is busy filling a spur of a small brown bullets. We just got back from the Black Meadow, says Ilfa. Yeah, we've been there too. We've been to the Black Meadow. The drinks are better over at the Salty Mast, but Hurdi here doesn't care for crowds. So Hurdi doesn't like the Salty Mast. Another inn? Another tavern? Perhaps. Ilfa nods at you, a pint in one hand and a mace slung over her shoulder. Feels nice to kick back after a few expeditions, says Key. Been out to Kite Nua yet? Yeah, it's my castle. I'm the lord of it. The Orlan woman nods at you, a cup of wine in hand and a scepter across her lap. Is it scepter or scepter? Just like the Eld Idiran language. Scepter.
Hail, traveler.
Weaxel says, back again, I see. Arismital asks, did you buy a March steel dagger from Igrun? Wixel displays the blade on a flat palm. I did, and a fine piece it is. I don't know of any more circulating in the city, outside the steel in the Crucible Keep, of course. Arismital says, I was trying to get it for a kid named Gordy. Wixel blinks and kicks his feet off the table. A kid? This isn't a toy, you know. Get him a wooden sword. The Orlan woman leans over and punches his arm. Come on, Wexel. If our friend here is willing to pay, what's the harm? Yeah, listen to her, Wexel. Wexel says, plenty actually. That kid will probably poke his eye out. Besides, I plan to use this dagger. Arismital asks, how much would it take for you to change your mind? Wexel turns the blade in the light, admiring it. Seeing as how there is a sudden demand for this, 100 pounds seems fair. Arismital says, the man isn't as high as you think. Chances are good that dagger was stolen or looted off one of the knights. In that case, I'm probably doing you a favor. Weaxel frowns. Can't be too careful around the authorities these days, especially as an Orlan. Fine, I'll sell it, but not for less than 50. I'm getting my money back at the very least. Arismital says, deal. Weaxel hands you the dagger. Hilt first. Pleasure doing business with you. Is there something else you wanted? Alright. We got the dagger for Gordy. We got the dagger for Gordy. We got the dagger We got the dagger for Gordy.
And its failures, Bal Reach among them. But does that warrant attacks on innocent practitioners? Superstitious.
Okay, I missed some words. Kana says, I'll grant you that animancy has had its failures, vile rich among them, but does that warrant attacks on innocent practitioners? Superstitious kith have spilled their share of blood.
Kith have spilled their share of blood.
That's no comparison. Animancers have the advantage of education, and with that comes authority and responsibility.
I have to say, it's wonderful to have someone to debate with. You'd think they'd be more welcoming of it at the Law College.
Or we could enjoy a glass of wine and a comfortable silence.
Oh, Kana and Aloth conversing. Kana is sympathetic towards animancers, while Aloth, he wants animancers to be accounted for, because they have the advantage of education and authority? Interesting. Gordy bounces on the pavement. Did you get it? Do you have the dagger? Can I see it? Arismital says, I have the dagger right here. Gordy stops bouncing and stares at it, gaping in awe. It's so sharp. Arismital slowly holds out the dagger. Pommel first. Listen first. When you're not using it, keep it sheathed, or it will rust. Don't show it off, or someone's going to take it away from you. Or worse. It's a weapon, not a toy. Understand? Gordy's hand trembles as he restrains himself from snatching the dagger away. He nods, holding the dagger in its sheath. I'll take good care of it, I promise ye. So, about that secret, Gordy puts his hand up to his mouth and whispers loudly. I saw one of the actors hide something under a loose stone near the theater. Probably nothing as good as a March steel dagger, though. Arismital says, Great secret. I already knew that. Tell me something else. Yeah, I already found that. Gordy scratches his head and wrinkles his brow. Sometimes my dad goes to Ondra's cave without telling my mom. Some place called the Salty Mast. Ooh, scandalous. Duran says, there's a secret worth some investigation. Arismital says, Thank you for telling me, Gordy. I don't see why I would want to be cruel to Gordy. Maybe one day he will have another secret, and maybe next time it will be a useful secret, right? Gordy says, Bye. Bye-bye, Gordy. I'm really careful with the dagger, just like you taught me, says Gordy. Now let's go back to Purnish to report on the situation. Wait, a shocking theft at the Hall of Mysteries? Interesting. Where is this Purnish? Is he still upstairs? Wait, treasure. And Purnish. Purnish says, hello again. I can't thank you enough. I have my Kainra back, and with her beside me I'll be on the mend in no time. Purnish smiles. Is there anything I can get you? With that discount like I promised. Adismittal says, let me see what you have. Oh, he's still dealing in Sevev? Alright. So where is Kainra? Where is she?
I'll have this open in no time. It's done.
Where is Kainra? Is she upstairs? How is she doing now? Wait, where is she? None to be found. Is she out doing something, maybe? Strange. Oh well, never mind. If you need an inn for the night, Goose and Fox has the softest beds and the best ale, says a commoner. What's wrong with the looting? No one's touched those artifacts in centuries, says a mercenary. What's wrong? It's part of the treaty with the Glanfathan tribes, you dolt. You're risking another war, asshole. I've been on a few expeditions. Good money if you return in one piece, says the mercenary. Don't fall into the canal, says the Justicia. Dunstan's the best smith in Defiance Bay. You'd think you were holding Durgan steel. The expeditions out of Atmeth's den are just organized grave robbery. You're always welcome at the keep. The knights patrol to keep us out of the ruins, but who keeps them out? We're the ones who beat Reat Seras in the Saints' War. The Crucible Knights have been warning everyone to stay out of the catacombs. They're not safe anymore, says the commoner. There are so few honest types left in Defiance Bay. If you're a scholar, you'll want to visit the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Doomstan may not agree about the Forge Knights, but his chain of command. Nice to see you, says the commoner. Lumdala's house. Isn't she one of the actors near the amphitheater? The one who is described as having as statuesque like? This painting depicts the famous scene from The Light of Dawn in which the traveler and the ghost happen upon a starving man. The traveler and the ghost happen upon a starving man. Light of Dawn. What is that? A book? A fictional book? In this universe?
Keeping an eye out.
Unlocking this will require the proper key. Alright. Unlocking this will require the proper key. Interesting. Alright.
What creatures wander the tundra? How are your leaders chosen?
Do you always ask this many questions?
Well, that's just to get us started. Let me get out some parchment for notes.
Ask whatever you want. If I don't know, I'll make something up.
Okay, I missed the first few words from Kana. Kana says, I've never been to Nasitak. Is it very cold? What creatures wander the tundra? How are your leaders chosen? And the rest, you've heard the voices, I think. Why Sagani seems to be cold towards Kana? I think she's also cold with Eder when they were talking about Itumak and Eder wanting to pet Itumak.